This is CBS 42's College Football Saturday Wrap-Up, presented by Pepsi.
Well, coming up on the big show, both Alabama and Auburn have one roadblock to overcome before next week's Iron Bowl. We'll recap the Tigers and the Tide straight ahead. Well, it is Saturday night in the Magic City, and I'm telling you, this team right here, those Alabama Crimson Tide, they're all about business, and they are getting it done this week. Good evening to you. It is Saturday night in the Magic City, and welcome into the Taylor and D version of the CBS 42 College Football Saturday Wrap-Up Show, where we have an El Guapo plethora of action for you tonight.
We got some good stuff to get to, as we saw the Crimson Tide out there. Also, Auburn would love to see what Toomer's Corner looks like at the moment, so we have some good things ahead in this show.
But, of course, we start with the Auburn Tigers, and they are red hot these days on the plains. It's taking it back to the old school. That's the Unity Walk, made famous when Carnell played for Tommy Tuberville. Tigers controlling the tempo, taking on Western Kentucky, and Tank Bigsby drives it on in. Closes out that 13-play drive with that 1-yard touchdown to make it 7-0 Auburn. And then in the second quarter, Auburn goes into the bag of tricks. Jarquez Hunter, halfback pass on the money to Coy Moore for the 20-yard touchdown, and it's 17-3 Tigers. Western Kentucky, tired of being pushed around, though. Austin Reed to Joshua Simon, 27-yard touchdown. And at the halftime, it was all tied up. Hilltoppers had 2 unanswered touchdowns, but third quarter, Bigsby once again opens things up with this 35-yard scamper, and Auburn gets moving to take a 10-point lead. It's 27-17, but the offense finds a way to pour some sugar on it down the stretch. A sweet deal here as Hunter goes 40 yards, leaving a trail of smoke along the way. Auburn makes it a big win, 2 in a row. And when I was in school, we called that a win streak. 41-17, the final. Running game on point this evening. 252 yards of groundwork for the Tigers. 122 through the air. Robbie Ashford, 8 of 19. It looks like this team is overflowing with energy as the Tigers improve to 5-6 this season. Hey, Coach Lack, the time's yours.
I am honored to be part of the Auburn family.
We have more on Auburn in the show. What a senior game for them. But now we're going to take it to Bryant-Denny as the Crimson Tide host Austin Peay for an 11 a.m. kick. Alabama coming off that close win at Ole Miss just last weekend. Well, today, Jace McClellan gets the scoring going early with the 1-yard touchdown. Alabama up 7-0. It was honestly, though, pretty low scoring in the first half, but midway through the second quarter, Alabama adds more points to the board as Bryce Young finds Jermaine Burton for the passing touchdown. But hey, about a minute later, we're talking about the defense. Pinson Valley's Kool-Aid McKinstry with the interception. The Tide go into the half with a 17-point lead, and the rest of the game was all Alabama as the Crimson Tide get the win over Austin Peay 34-0. Alabama's rush defense steps up today, holding the Governors to 59 yards on the ground. Now here's what head coach Nick Saban had to say after today's win over Austin Peay.
I was really pleased with the way that the team came out and played today.
And our legend in the making tonight, Nick Saban, talked a lot about this guy, Alabama running back Jace McClellan. He rushed for a game-high 156 yards in the Tide's 34-0 win over Austin Peay, and he scored 2 touchdowns. His previous high for rushing yards in a game this season was all the way back in Week 2 at Texas, and Alabama's road win with 97 yards.
Well, still to come on the College Football Saturday Wrap-Up Show, Samford looks to close out the regular season with a win over Mercer. We'll recap the Bulldogs' regular season finale and hear from head coach Chris Hatcher. That's coming up next.
You're watching the CBS 42 College Football Saturday Wrap-Up, presented by Pepsi.
How about Samford? 7-0 in conference play, taking on Mercer, who was 5-2. This one was close the whole way. The Bulldogs trailing out of the gate, but Michael Hires finds DJ Rios, the Alabama transfer. He finds a way into the end zone, ties the game up at 7. Second quarter now, the Bears looking to take the lead, but wait a minute. There's a fumble, and the Bulldogs recover in the end zone. Samford goes into the half with a field goal to take the 3-point lead. Michael Hires, he went crazy, going 43 of 55 in the air for 454 passing yards. I tell you what, 4 touchdowns. He added a rushing touchdown to the stat sheet as Samford wins its first outright SoCon title with the win over 19th ranked Mercer. 50-44 in double overtime. What a score. Here's what head coach Chris Hatcher had to say after the game.
The last sequence of events, our goal line defense there at the end to send it into overtime and then get the block kick, and then your walk-on backup quarterback comes in there and scores from like 23 yards out. It's hard to write something up like that. So very proud of our team. Finished the regular season FCS schedule undefeated. The conference champions there. It was just a great way, and then to see our crowd interact with our players at the end of the game was awfully special.
Oh, Coach Hatcher is my dude. How can you not like that guy? Jacksonville State wrapping up the season with Central Arkansas, and this one was all Gamecocks as Jack State wins at 40-17, finishing 9-2 on the season.
On the ugliest field in college football, perhaps.
It's different. It's different.
Unique.
Same things happening down at LSU, though. UAB tangling with the Tigers in the red stick. We're in the first quarter, and LSU's John Emery Jr. up the gut for 2 yards, and they're on the board. But UAB answering the call. Dwayne McBride, D-Mac smashing his way into the end zone. It's 7-7 at that point. And LSU would have no part of it. Noah King would come back and get another touchdown, and LSU leading 41-10 over UAB in the fourth quarter. Well, coming up next on the College Football Wrap-Up Show, we go around the SEC as Tennessee and Ole Miss both on the road tonight, recapping Vols and Rebs straight ahead.
You're watching the CBS 42 College Football Saturday Wrap-Up, presented by Pepsi.
Well, the drive of the game presented by Central Alabama Honda dealers. It may as well be a time machine. Old school Auburn fans, stay with me for a second. Running back Jarquez Hunter takes the toss. The pass is good to Coy Moore for a 20-yard touchdown. Hunter having a career day. Throws a touchdown. He runs for a touchdown. This team is literally a throwback to the early 2000s. I'm talking about straight out of the playbook of offensive coordinator Gorgeous Al Borges. And when good things happen, you can't help but to take that trip down memory lane.
One day we was all in the running back room. We were talking to our coach, Jeff McNay. I said, I think we need to do like a running back pass. And then 2 days later, they put it in. And I used to play a little quarterback back in high school.
Yeah. What was it like when they pulled up the Caddy's play from 2004 and it was the same exact play?
Oh, I was like, he did it, I got to do it too. I got to just make mine better.
Oh, all smiles in that locker room. What a night for the guys in Auburn tonight.
Absolutely. You love to see them like that after a game. So much fun that they're having out there.
But that wasn't the only place to have fun. There was a lot of late night SEC action that started on Saturday. Tennessee, what about these guys? They go up to South Carolina. They were, once upon a time, were the #1 team in the country, the Vols were. And this week, they were number 5, which means with 2 weeks left in the season, their playoff dream's still alive, but South Carolina having no part of it.
That's right, D. Spencer Rattler had the best day of his unpredictable career, throwing for 438 yards and 5 touchdowns. Count them up as South Carolina beat number 5 Tennessee 63-38 on Saturday night, all but eliminating the Volunteers from the playoffs. Tennessee may also have lost Heisman Trophy candidate Hendon Hooker, who left the game in the fourth quarter with a leg injury. The Gamecocks upset the Volunteers 63-38, and you better believe there was a field storming after this one.
No question. Ole Miss taking the lane train to Fayetteville, and the Rebels and Hogs, Arkansas leading by 7 early, and add to it KJ Jefferson finding Matt Landers for the touchdown. And before the half, Arkansas gets even more into it. Another touchdown, 8-yard variety. Raheem Sanders in Arkansas looking good tonight, defeating Ole Miss 41-27. Arkansas on a roll. Congratulations to them.
And we go to Georgia. They rolled into Kroger Stadium looking to dominate over Kentucky. Low-scoring game in this one. Georgia defeats Kentucky, but only by the score of 16-6. The Bulldogs go to 11-0 on the season and face off with their in-state rival, Georgia Tech, next week at home.
Well, Mike Wright threw 3 touchdown passes, and Vanderbilt upset Florida 31-24 on Saturday for its second straight Southeastern Conference victory. Vanderbilt took a 7-3 lead, never looked back against Florida. The loss ended a 2-game win streak for the Gators, who had won their last 8 games against Vandy.
Love Mike Wright. Now, as for Jimbo Fisher's squad, Texas A&M at the bottom of the barrel this year, hosting UMass today. The Aggies only up 3-0 after the first quarter. A&M scored a touchdown in the second quarter to lead 10-3 at halftime. And if you want to know how fans felt about that, well, here's a look at the stadium there in the third quarter. They call it the 12th man, but doesn't look like they have much of an advantage there as far as the fans go. Weather could have been something to do with that, though. The Aggies go on to win 20-3 and wrap up the season at home with LSU next weekend.
Well, coming up next on the CBS 42 College Football Wrap-Up Show, it's time to look ahead to next week's Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa. But that's a look at what's going on at Toomer's Corner, and Auburn fans are hoping that TP will be rolling again. We're going to talk about the week ahead coming up next.
You're watching the CBS 42 College Football Saturday Wrap-Up, presented by Pepsi.
Well, before we wrap this show on up, we're going to talk about a little game that's happening next week. It is the Iron Bowl. And last year, Taylor, you had a chance to be right there on the sidelines for one of the best Iron Bowls we've had in a long time.
Honestly, probably one of the best games I've ever covered in my career. It's one of college football's most intense rivalries. It's back, and CBS 42 has you covered for all of the action. We begin our coverage with the road to the Iron Bowl. We have 3 specials leading up to the game, 6:30 on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And then Saturday, of course, we'll be live in Tuscaloosa for our 2-hour pregame show from noon to 2.
And, of course, you can watch the game on CBS 42 at 2:30, which is followed by our 2-hour. And Coach Carnell Williams' post-press conferences live and highlights from the game. Then, of course, at 10:35, we'll recap everything you may have missed in case you dozed off from all that extra turkey that you had left over from Thanksgiving.
And man, we have so many good things coming up for this show. We previewed a walk through the Auburn's new football facility, $95 million. I tell you what, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I tell you what, before we let you go, as we say goodnight, the only way to get you in the mood for a little Iron Bowl is to take a peek. We'll see you at the game. Take care.